Bad Times and Bad Places. That's the name of this tune. So let's dance. Director William Friedkin confronts his own heart of darkness in 1977's Sorcerer. And like Francis Ford Coppola, he too got lost in the jungle. And yet, they both turned out two of the best movies of the 70s. And both movies were, to a different degree, overtaken by events, most particularly the rise of the blockbuster movie. It's ironic that these two Oscar-winning directors would fall prey to the very system they helped usher in. Coppola with his Godfather movies, and Friedkin with The Exorcist. At the time of its release, Sorcerer was considered a $20 million misfire. Friedkin himself expressed regrets about what a fool's errand it was to try and remake Henri Clouzot's Wages of Fear. In fact, when Friedkin approached the director for his blessing, Clouzot said, "Mon ami, what is the point?" Four desperate men, each with a criminal past, are exiled to a nameless South American country. Each is given a shot at redemption if they can team up and drive two trucks full of nitroglycerin through the jungle to a raging oil fire that needs to be snuffed out. I think Sorcerer is a good, sometimes even a great movie, but the Holy Grail, it isn't. I was there when this movie bombed, and it died a symbolic, almost mythic death in that temple to Star Wars, the Chinese theater in Hollywood. It was opening day, and I was virtually the only one in the theater. I thought, this is strange. This is William Friedkin, after all. The French Connection and The Exorcist were two monster hits. And yet, almost no one was in the theater. Talk about bad timing. This was an early 70s type of movie that was released directly after Star Wars. It never had a chance. I've always liked the movie, but I do have a problem with its big action sequence. In The French Connection, Friedkin created one of the greatest car chases in film history. He did it again in To Live and Die in L.A. Both were grounded in a more or less plausible reality, and it seemed like this was becoming expected of him. A new William Friedkin film had to have a big showstopper sequence, and in Sorcerer he uncorks another one. The sequence is a visual knockout, but it goes on and on and on until it finally threw me out of the movie. Back and forth the truck swayed on the rope bridge as it swung back and forth in a rainstorm, as the nitro in the back of the truck slid back and forth, and finally my head swung back and forth as my brain said, no way. I became all too aware of the engineering involved in creating that scene, and the illusion was gone. Movies work on us in many different ways. A long-forgotten scene can suddenly echo in the present. Once upon a time, I was driving a dead man's car from New York City to Los Angeles. The dead man was my brother. I was alone, and it was a hard and harrowing trip. Long 16-hour burns on the road, every mile haunted by his memory. One night, coming over the rise of a two-lane blacktop, there was the Gateway Arch, and through the arch, there was a stadium in the distance, all lit up, and above the stadium, a Goodyear blimp hovered. Below the arch itself was a large riverboat that was moored to the riverbank. It was an amazing sight. A half hour south of there, the car broke down, and I crashed in a Motel 6. The next morning, I found a mechanic. Turns out it was a blown gasket, and I was back on the road in 3 hours. I headed further south and then west. It was a long, boring drive through the barren fields of Oklahoma. I stopped at a diner in Tulsa, And suddenly it's 1969 Easy Rider time as I'm met with a wave of silent hostility. But the food was pretty good, so I took my time. Later, in Oklahoma City, I suddenly see a semi hanging over the side of a freeway. Tornado tore up the town just a few hours earlier. Shortly after that, I'm burning across the Texas Panhandle, a land so flat you'd swear you could see the curvature of the earth. Later that night, I hit Amarillo, and the car starts acting up again, and I thought, oh man, please don't do this. Come on, baby, get me to Albuquerque. After that, I'll figure it out on my own. So I headed north, up through the Guadalupe Mountains into New Mexico. And up there in the mountains, on a barren ridgeline, lit only by the moonlight, I thought I might not make it. I was physically and emotionally drained, burned raw by the road and circumstance. And I thought, if the car dies up here, I'm done. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. And then suddenly I flashed on that scene in Sorcerer where Roy Scheider is the only one left alive, and he's driving through a lunar landscape with a dead man in the passenger seat. But I made it down from that mountain, and I actually even managed to rest for a day. But driving home to Los Angeles, I discovered that it wasn't mine anymore. Oh yes, the apartment was still there, but it was no longer a home. Like I said, I think Sorcerer is a pretty good movie, even a great one. But I don't watch it much anymore. Too many ghosts.